You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Welcome to the Odds Breakers, number one place for shared, sharp betting information.
Welcome back to podcast 70 of 2025. I'm your host, Kiev O'Neill. You can follow me on Twitter at OBKiev. Follow us at the Odds Breakers. Follow us on social media / the Odds Breakers. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. If you'd like to support the Oddsbreakers and benefit from our premium plays, please visit theoddsbreakers.com, become a member, pick any. For winning cappers, you get the premium plays before the line moves. You can also support us on patreon.com from the fans. Please visit the Oddsbreakers, become a free Picks and Telegram subscriber. NFL time, my friends. And we have a great show for you today because Katie, the sports betting queen, is going to come on and break down her thoughts on this week's slate. We had Katie on back in Las Vegas at Radio Row. Was a great show, and now we're going to see what she's up to because she had a really good first NFL 2 weeks. So here we are. We're going to talk some games and get into what we normally do here at the Odds Breakers. But before that, I want to talk a little NFL ATS. I know it's a little early for that, but it's probably going to be factored in very shortly by the bettors if it's not being factored in already right now. Kind of an even distribution here when you look at it because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that are undefeated against the spread. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that haven't covered a spread. So it's really even, between that, and everybody else is in the middle at 1-1. But talking about teams that have covered every single one of their 2 games, Green Bay 2-0, Tampa Bay, Indianapolis, LA Rams, Chargers, Buffalo, and San Fran. Now, I would argue that Indianapolis should not have covered that, but at the same time, they did outgain Denver anyways in yards. Biggest ATS margin there, Indianapolis plus 13. Green Bay second at plus 9.5. Then you have the Chargers at plus 8.3 and Buffalo plus 8.3. So some pretty big ATS margins there. What about the non-cover fade teams? The Steelers 0-2, the Saints 0-2, Miami, Kansas City, Denver, Houston, Chicago, all 0-2 against the spread, and the Bears minus 14 ATS margin. Miami's a little worse at minus 16.3 ATS margin. Pittsburgh minus 9.5 and Kansas City minus 5.5. So when you get this, you'll find out more about Miami and Buffalo as that game is tonight. From a totals perspective, we're looking at overs here. There's only 3 teams that went over both weeks. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Chicago. Baltimore by 20.8 points ATS or totals margin. Chicago and Pittsburgh both in 17s. So that's interesting. The teams that went under 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams have not went over once. They're 0-2 over under. And that is Las Vegas, Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Houston, Green Bay, Washington, Philadelphia. And margin-wise, Las Vegas minus 14 points to the under for their margin. Houston minus 11.5. That's a dead unders team. Washington minus 10.8. And Atlanta minus 10.5 in their games. So the rest of the teams are 1-1. So there you have it. Something significant, though. Dallas 1-1 is plus 14.5 margin to the over. Buffalo plus 11.3 margin to the over. And the Jets plus 10.3 margin to the over. So this is always some good information to go over before the week. Maybe you know where some of the public money is going to be coming in on. All right. Well, we have a lot to talk about for the NFL. So without further ado, let's bring in Katie, the sports betting queen from the Crooks and Books podcast. Hey, folks, big opportunity here. The Oddsbreakers has partnered with the Optimus Prime crypto options trading platform and the Apex Alliance Club. How it works is that the Apex Alliance Club runs an AI-based algorithm that guarantees the trades that they give you. And that's how you get such a big income right away. And throughout the first 2 months, you can literally double your money. The greatest thing about this opportunity is it's completely safe. They give you $1,000 just to try it out. Once you make some profit, they take it back and you decide to make your first investment. Make sure you get some info on this by emailing us at info@theoddsbreakers.com. The Apex Alliance Club and the Optimus Prime crypto trading platform is a Coinbase and a Crypto.com friendly company. Now I'm very excited to welcome back Katie, the sports betting queen from the show Crooks and Books. You can follow Katie on X at Deuces. Katie, thanks for coming back on the show. I see you guys are having a great start to the NFL season. How are things going this week?
We are doing really well for the first couple of weeks. This week, we just did our show yesterday, so you guys will have to find out and take a look at what our analysis is. And we had some takeaways from the last few weeks and obviously week 2. But so far, week 2, we are at, where are we at week 2 here? Our odds are 27-17, so we are at 61%.
Oh, that is amazing. That is great start. And it was funny, you just threw out this massive number. That's something that's specific to your show. I listened to the last one last week, and it sounds like you guys have a take on every single game.
Sometimes. And if we don't, we kind of give you just the lean on it and say, we don't like this, or maybe we change our minds in the middle of like today is Thursday night football and we still have a couple hours. So we do have a newsletter that comes out every week up until the playoffs, because the guys want to start charging for coffee since they're like, hey, someone can afford that. But it's a free newsletter every week for the whole season, except for, like I said, the playoffs. And it has each and every one of the podcasters' picks on it, including mine. And these are the things that we're kind of sure of, or that we've actually put on the sheet to make sure that we can brag about it the next week and, carry the team, as what my son would say.
Oh, there you go. Carry the team. That's awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about the history of Crooks and Books and about yourself. I know you were on once and did a little bit of that, but, for anybody that hasn't heard that before, what's gotten you into this, and how long you been doing it?
All right. Well, Crooks and Books podcast is the Sports Bet Queen. So I'm the only woman on the podcast. And that's why we call it that. And I also used to carry the team, as what my son would say. But it started like a garage kind of hangout type thing. And we just started talking crap about our football teams and how biased we are and the drama that encompasses all of the NFL. Mm-hmm. I started betting when I was young. So around maybe between 10, 13 years old, I started learning about the spreads and what my parents would talk about, especially my dad, uncles, and, kind of just going through the motions of what these numbers are, because you start asking yourself, if I'm learning math in school, what are they talking about? What is -7? What is +7? And who are the Dallas Cowboys? Who's, back in the 90s, the 49ers. So I learned that through my aunt, who was watching me after school, and we would, watch the football games, and I would ask about what's a first down, what's the third down, what's this PAT, and that's how I got into football specifically. And the other guys, obviously, I was able to keep up with the conversation with the guys that I've been on the show with since 2018, because I know a lot about the players and also the teams, and not too much on like who's injured and stuff like that, which I'm trying to get better on. It's just hard to keep that afloat, especially when you're doing so much. But I think that, we started it. It grew a following in 2020 or around COVID and after COVID and during that time, just because a lot of what we were saying, everybody else was thinking. And
Right.
I think they wanted somebody else to say it, or they were looking for confirmation in what their analysis was or where they're leaning to.
Yeah,
But
everyone, that's great. And, it's fun to you start talking. It's like, I want other, I love talking about this. I want other people to hear it. And and you always want confirmation too. And you want to see other perspectives. That's great. And you've been doing this quite a long time now. So big following on Instagram at the Sports Betting Queen. Obviously check that out if you're a big Instagram fan, and obviously everywhere else. Katie is on all these different shows in LA and in other places. So very proud of this girl right here. Let's talk.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's talk a little NFL then. We got, it's interesting. You got 2 weeks of data, right? And I would want to ask you, and this is it doesn't even matter to sports betting really, but who do you think right now are the top 5 teams in the NFL?
Yeah, of course, it's early in the game, and you want to say which teams they actually are in a technical term, but I think going forward, top teams, no matter what, would be Bills, Ravens, Chargers, Green Bay, and I'm going to say 49ers because of the schedule. Otherwise, I would have said Detroit.
49ers. And you're not a 49er fan, are you by chance?
Oh, of course I am.
Well, I'm a Bears fan. I certainly would not put them in the top 5, top 10, or top 15.
No, I just feel like the Bears need to find their identity still.
Yeah.
And I talk a lot about that on the show, and how quarterbacks are, everybody will say on any show, they'll say this team is one quarterback away, but maybe it's the quarterback that's one team away. You know what I mean? Because they have to fit into a style of what that offense is, right? Defense it matters, but it's in conjunction with the offense that they need to fit into. So I think the Bears, they've got the recipe to do that. They've just got to get that identity, and whether or not they find that in Caleb, I'm not sure.
I agree. And I think, it's just going to take time. You can't rush into things. Brand new coach, brand new system, complicated system. I think we'll give the Bears some time, and I totally agree with that. So what kind of better are you, or at least handicapper? Are you someone that's more metric-based, more creative, spot-based, or both?
That's a really good question, and I'm narrative. So narrative method, experiences based on numbers, obviously, but or what I've seen in the dramatic fall of certain teams, but it keeps it unbiased for me, even though, we just talked about the Niners, obviously. I try to stay away from a lot of the games that I feel a certain way about, or, where you're like, okay, I know I want my Niners to win, but it may not be. So the narrative method to me kind of includes both of what you said, which is metric and creative. And looking at the narrative of certain things, you see a villain, you see, the hero in certain teams. And I think I don't just do that with NFL. I also do that with baseball and with the NBA. You can do that a lot with the NBA, actually. But looking at that and mixing it up with numbers, you'll really find, I think, an analysis that will confirm what you want when you're betting.
Absolutely. You can. And I like that. Narrative base is another way of saying it. And I would say that's a little creative too, in a way. It's that you're looking at it, and you look at it as a whole. You do look at some numbers, but I think that things come together a little bit for you quicker that way. Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the situations here. What about some buy low, sell high? I like to approach a week or two, and it doesn't mean that I'm like going to bet them this week or fade them this week. But do you have like a team that you think you're a little bit higher on the market or lower on the market?
I think I would like to sell the high point on the Rams. A lot of people that I've heard and friends too that I know that are in the industry are very high on the Rams this year, or were. And I know it's only week 2, right? But maybe they kind of go on a downward stream just because I don't know the changes that they've really made. They have great receivers, and obviously Matt Stafford is still Matt Stafford, but you've got to be able to change the way that you look at the game and how you play the game. I think that McVay, maybe a book might be out on him now this year. So I would sell high on them now just because they're, I just don't know that they'll make it into that in the later weeks of the NFL.
I think it's a great choice because I believe the Texans should have beat them the first game, and they just fumbled the ball away. And the Texans are not necessarily a good team. And it's funny, I can sell high in the Texans too, because I still think, them going to Jacksonville and it being a pretty close spread, I'm like, man, that's a really bad offensive line. And don't get me wrong, Jacksonville is a really tough, head-scratching team because, they have skills, yet they can completely blow games. So I would sell high a little bit on Houston. And the Rams, I think, is a great choice to sell high on, too. And I think, there's a chance, Eagles can take them away. So we'll see what happens when we get to that game. Buy low. I think it's tough right now. I believe it or not, from a against the spread perspective, maybe Cleveland, just because their defense is still really solid and Flacco's okay. And
I was actually going to say the same thing because I love them for this week.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Right.
That's a great segue to get into this week then, because we like to talk about every game or pass or at least bring it up and give out a couple plays as we're going along too. So let me get my old pen and paper here, as I always love to take notes. And we'll start with the I don't start with the Thursday night game usually because this
okay, that's good.
Well, here's the thing. It's a massive spread, and by the time this show comes out, unless people are watching live, it is, it's more about the podcast for me. And the Browns Packers are the first game listed in DraftKings, and I want to talk about this one because I actually do have a play in the Browns that I'm going to make an official play. The thing is that yards per point wise, they're really not that far from the Packers, and the Packers have been pretty fortunate here, but we have not seen them on the road. It's a team that is interesting right now because they've killed it at home, but I believe they're a little different at home. And when an 0-2 team is desperate, I think that's a good situation here. I just retweeted from Josh Applebaum, teams that are 0-2 and are dogs in week 3 have gone 37-17 against the spread since 2017. That is a 69% hit. It is crazy. The Dolphins, the Jets, the Texans, the Bears, the Giants, the Saints, the Browns, the Panthers, and the Titans fit that bill. But I think the Packers are fine to get out of there winning by 7. They're fine to get out of there winning by 6, 4. I'm taking the Browns. It wouldn't shock me if they won outright, but they still have some skill on that team. It sounds like Quinshawn Junkins might play this week more, and they have a couple of Jetty and a couple pretty good receivers and a very good defense. So
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members save even more with limited-time doorbuster deals. Save $5 on 24-count Contractor's Choice 42-gallon trash bags, now just $14.78. Plus, get your choice select DeWalt Elite Series saw blades for $9.98. Not a Pro Rewards member? Join for free today at Lowe's. Valid through 9/17. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change.
Trying to lose weight? It's time to try Hers. At forhers.com/4u, you can access affordable doctor-trusted weight loss treatments tailored just for you. These include oral medication kits or compounded GLP-1 injections. Through Hers, pricing for oral medication kits start at just $69 a month for a 10-month plan when paid in full upfront. No hidden fees, no membership fees. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hers brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatment plans that put your goals first. Reach your weight loss goals with help through Hers. Get started at forhers.com/4u to access affordable, doctor-trusted weight loss plans. That's forhers.com/4u, forhers.com/4u. Paid for by Hims and Hers Health. Weight loss by Hers is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I like Cleveland since I do we have a sheet that we call the sheet that's the slots for each game. And I usually set that up on Tuesdays. So when I see something and I like it at the time that I'm actually putting in the numbers, the spread totals, I saw Green Bay versus Cleveland and it was 8. And I was like, no, like and if you listen to my podcast, I'm a big Green Bay fan so far, right? But there's a time where you're like, okay, this spread is a little high and it should be what you would call a blowout 7, but why is it an 8? And I feel like it was switched over the week before, I guess it was the week. So last week was a week that you would be like, oh, let's everybody take the dogs. And a lot of faves won, right? Even though there's some dogs that won, but I feel like this time around they set us up for the Chargers, and they were a favorite. They won. They set us up for favorites. Like, you would want to take the favorites because these are big rivalries coming up and teams that would blow out other teams that you would think so far. So Cleveland is one of those teams that I feel like that can really cover this spread. Like you said, Green Bay could win by 7, and then we would still all be happy.
There you go. I agree. Let's move on to the next game, which is the Jets at Bucks, and the Bucks are -7. The total's 43.5. Any thoughts on this one?
Jets, great defense. Okay. I took them the first week, for circa millions. And that was a bet that I wasn't really that worried about because it was kind of like, all right, Jets have a great defense. Their coach came from us. He was a defensive coach, championship defensive coach. So I understood that. Tampa Bay is a great team as well. They have a really good defense as well. Vita Vea. He is one of the best in what he does. And I know that because he's from the Bay Area, so Milpitas. And that team would be nothing without him, really, I think. And Baker can bake, like we see this all the time. But I do think that the Jets could possibly take this. So I don't know.
Disagree.
It's a big thing. Yeah, it's a big thing for me. I just think that they had a huge win. Florida had a huge win, or Tampa Bay had a huge win, and
letdown spot.
It was Sunday. You know what I mean? For sure.
Sure.
And I took the Texans on that one. You know what I'm saying? So I totally agree with what you were saying about the Texans, but I think the Jets take this one.
Well, here's the thing: you think they win outright or to cover the 7?
Cover the 7. If they win outright. I mean, that would be great, and I would take that on. Well,
they fit the bill for dogs. They
definitely do.
69%.
But then they don't have field. I think is what scared me off of that one.
Well, here's the thing: Tyrod Taylor is a hell of a backup, and Fields is just great with his legs, and he's just been missing people. I think Tyrod Taylor is still okay with his legs, not as good as Fields, but has the better accuracy. So I'm really thinking about it. Looking at, I mean, if you want to, there's a dog barking right there. That means you bet the dog.
I know that's probably the indicator. Yeah, sorry guys.
That's a very common thing actually. Yeah, I'm looking at the Jets, and it's 6.5 for a reason at Circa Millions because they know that number's off. Okay, so I'm considering them. I worry about the Bucks. If you're on that side, is Kalijah Cansey is out for the season, and they'll have 3 offensive linemen out. You know, this is a bad spot for the Bucks. So yeah, really staring that. It is, down.
And then they won that game. They won that game off of, like you said, they're hype on it. They just won a game. Right. So they're just it's a dramatic one. So maybe we do cover this one, as far as the Jets.
Maybe we do. It's an omen. All right, let's move on to the next game. We have the Rams at Eagles, and Eagles is minus 3.5, total 44.5. Now, metrically, I can't really say a lot after 2 weeks, but what I will say is that I do have the Eagles.
Sorry.
Ranked. I have them. I have them ranked high enough over 3.5. So
Okay.
if this gets down to 3, I will lay it with the Eagles most likely. So it's a situation where I think that.
So if I see where you're coming. So if the movement comes to 3, then you will.
It's not where I can bet it now. My number's 4.5. But if it gets to 3, I just think the Eagles are that, they're a weird team. They don't cover by a lot when they don't want to because they have the tush push and run the clock. But I think the Rams, like you said, sell high is getting a little bit too much hype.
I got you. And I we talked about that on the show. And if you can watch it now on my show, we talked about the Rams covering. I think Prado was the one that talked about the Rams covering plus 3.5. I just don't see it because they're in Philly. And that's the narrative part of me, of my method, that there is a hype on this. And I understand that Philly may go 3-0. You know what I'm saying? Which is completely like, okay, cool. Like they're the championship team. They're the team to beat. We understand that narrative, but they'll lose a game. It's just, it may not be this one. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And they will cover. You know what I'm saying? So you're right. If it goes to 3, I'm down with you. I'll take that bet with you.
All right.
But 3.5 is a little sketch.
Unfortunately,
you know what I mean?
And unfortunately, it's 3.5 on the contest, so it's probably a stay away from a contest play for me.
Right.
Let's move on to the next game. We have the Falcons at Panthers. Now, all I'm going to say about this is that I kind of like the Falcons and what they're doing, but it's a situation, good quarterback, bad coach. That always burns you in situations where you're laying past 3. Unfortunately, Carolina fits the trend. So if you were thinking about Falcons, that's a powerful 69% trend. I am staying away from this game itself. It wouldn't shock me if anything happens, like Carolina wins outright or the Falcons cover by a lot.
Off the top, I did like this game for the over 44.
Okay.
So I think it's because both teams can score. They like Carolina's proved it with what happened with Arizona last week, and Arizona was beating them. You know what I'm saying? As in beating them. And if you let a team like that come back, then they're going to have a little bit of spirit, and they're going to want to play. And Atlanta is a team that they can play. And I think maybe they're a team that plays to what their opponent is or what their opponent's identity is. So I think both can really score. And I think 43.5, 44 is a good number to go over.
Yes. That's pretty low. And, I see that Atlanta is scoring. They do have a solid defense, but Carolina at the end of games have just been scoring a lot. And they came through that back door hard. And I was at that Cardinals game last week and they came through hard. And I was scared a lot of people off.
Yeah. How was that? What was the experience there?
It was great. Me and my son had a blast, and we got a jersey for him, Marvin Harrison Jr. We got home.
That's awesome.
The family loved it. That when we got home, they were watching us, and it was good. It was.
That's so cool.
It was good. We I sent my wife a lot of texts from the game. And shared Dane and doing all these fun things like kicking field goals and stuff like that. It was really fun.
That's awesome.
It was super cool.
And it got exciting. So,
it got exciting at the end.
What else do you want, right?
Not exciting the way we liked it, but I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't have nothing on that game minus a small survor on the Cardinals. The big survor.
That's good.
Big survor. I had a much better play. The Cowboys, that way better. Yeah. I should have been out after last week. Colts Titans plus 4.5 total 43.5.
Ooh. I do like Tennessee on this one. I was thinking about it a little bit more to ponder. Daniel Jones is playing his freaking mind out. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can cuss on your show, so I don't want to be,
cuss away.
He's playing his butt off, dude. Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like the excitement is there, but Tennessee is always been a team that I feel will cover for you. They haven't covered, obviously, the times that I took them last year, which is crazy because I thought they were like my betting schemey team. But I think they can actually do this and get to Danny Dimes. So we'll see.
I actually do have a premium play on this. What I will say is the hype real on the Colts? You have to ask yourself that. They should have lost last game. We all know that. We know that ref was doing
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I had $3,000 on it. And I'll say that out loud happily because I don't have it.
Yeah,
now
it's gone. Yeah.
Because of the Denver Broncos, and it's not really them; it's the refs.
Oh, they were throwing that flag
call.
before. Yeah, I've complained enough about it, and it's just one of those situations you can't do nothing about it, and the NFL won't say anything about it. So move on. Raiders.
Yeah, it's literally a tearjerker where you're like,
well, good thing you're having a great year though, so that's a great start. If you combine my college, I am as well. Raiders Commanders -3.5 here. There's a little money coming on the Raiders. The big question is if Jaden Daniels is going to play, and my guess is no. I just think that, here's the deal. This one is one you sit out from a contest standpoint because, well, this is why you wait because, he gets announced out before Saturday's deadline. Mm-hmm. This is going to crash down to 2.5 to 3. And if he's announced in, this is going to go back up to 5. So it's a situation where you want to wait it out, or you completely avoid it.
Or do you take it?
Or you completely avoid it because everyone's going to be on it, and they'll crush them, right? It could crush them if they lose, and then you get a leg up on the contest. So that's like contest theory. But
this is where is this being played at?
It's in Washington, the total's 44.5. And Washington's never been a great home field, but the Raiders are kind of. I think they stayed out last week after the Patriots screw up, and I think they put a good fight on. And we know Geno Smith can play a little ball, so I leaned hard the Raiders. I might get on it, I might not. It's just. Yeah, I also that offensive line's bad for the Raiders though. That offensive line is bad.
Yeah. And we always call the Raider games on our show misery loving company. So if you want a little bit of degen misery, then you take this game and you close your eyes and you say, "Hey, come on, Raiders."
Plus, it wouldn't shock me. We're paying juice, right? So it wouldn't shock me if Jane Daniels plays and there's BS and it's just it's hard to predict that. It's like you're playing juice on 50-50 here. I'm not messing with that.
Yeah.
It's like maybe it'll be.
I'm not. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
Steelers Patriots.
It's too much. Steelers Patriots. Ooh. I think the Steelers are throwing up a facade. Because. It's Aaron. Aaron has an identity of like, I'm the best, I'm good, even though he ain't nothing right now, and obviously I give a lot of credit to Aaron. He's who he is because he got there. I just don't know that he fits into this team just yet. And a lot of QBs have tried to do that with the Steelers. Steelers have an identity. You have to fit it. It's either you do or you don't. And I think we've seen that with Russell, right? He was there, and I don't know that really worked out. Is this really going to work out for him, for Aaron? Maybe, but it still has to kind of like mold into that. So I don't really have anything on this. I wouldn't be shocked if the Patriots were able to keep up because their team, both teams are, kind of in that sense, but I don't know. What do you think?
I like the Steelers in this. I think the Patriots are still a ways away from being good. Mm-hmm. I think last week was more of the apparition, and the Patriots, big deal. It wasn't that great of a win for them. They won, but they were playing a very, very incompetent Miami team that just lost their coach. And so it's like now they're full of themselves. The Steelers are kicking themselves after a fumble on the kickoff or on a big punt that changed the game. And I just think TJ Watt gets to them. And that's the biggest handicap I have is I think the pass rush really gets to May and forces them some bad decisions. And the Steelers kind of play. This is kind of like a Mike Tomlin special. I like this will be an official.
I like
play.
that.
Yeah.
I like how you said that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Mike Tomlin takes advantage.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's
You're
just
a great coach.
after a loss. Yeah. After a loss, Variable's still young over there. It's just too new. And the Patriots have a terrible offensive line too. So I'm not giving them too much credit. Bengals Vikings. Now this is weird. It's 3.5 And then what happened is we knew what happened with Joe Burrow, unfortunate. And that's just having a bad line and him not falling correctly, it seems. And then all of a sudden we are all surprised by the Vikings because I really thought that McCarthy was going to play, but then it goes down to 3. But the question is Wentz really worse than McCarthy yet? I don't even know.
We call him Cayman Wentz. So
yeah, he's Cayman Wentz. Maybe he is worse.
You know, I mean, he could throw up a really good backup game, I guess. But I mean, for Minnesota, and they're home again, that's crazy. Like they get to play all these times at home, and they should be winning, right?
Right.
Browning +3. It sounds so inviting. I don't really want anything in this game, but if I had to lean, I would think that there's better coaching on the Cincinnati side. I know I'm a big fan of obviously the coach in Minnesota. I just don't know that he can play out there. You know what I mean? You can't play. You're a great coach, but is your players going to play for you?
Right.
And that didn't happen with JJ. Maybe that's why he's going to Mr. Cayman Wentz. And Cayman Wentz has won some very, very obnoxious, really big games in his life as who he is. But I don't know that this will get away from Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati could cover this possibly. They are a dog, so.
I think Browning's a good backup. I don't think he's a great backup. And, he's still got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and some very skilled receivers and Chase Brown and just a very good offense that can bail him out. But the question is, so does the Vikings, and the Vikings have the better defense. I lean the Vikings. I'm not going to I'm probably not going to use this as a contest play. I didn't even look at the number on it. If it's 3, I'd be more tempted, I guess. It's 3. It's 3.
I think it's at 3.
Yeah, it's at 3 in a contest. So we'll see. I just think that there's a lot of variance because of Cayman Wentz, and Cayman Wentz has screwed me probably more times than not. Let's not forget that the Vikings are very injured too, because Aaron Jones is also out, which brings more.
He's out,
and that brings more questions. And then you also have just if you look at their injury list, Greenard's hurt. Andrew Van Ginkel was concussed. He's probably missing. It's just a lot of injuries on this Vikings team. They probably win by 3, and everybody pushes, right? That's what it kind of feels like.
And then you're just like, okay, what a waste of time. But sure, give me my money back so I can just put it on something else.
Texans Jaguars -1.5, total 43.5. What do you think about this disgusting game?
So I think, and we have nicknames on our show, so you'll find out about that. If you've already been listening, like Kiev, then he knows. We call him Lion King at the Jaguars because he has the Lion King hair, and he's like Mufasa or whatever. But Lion King, I think, can. He's
been lying. He lied to me enough about games. If you want to.
Oh, that's true. But
spell it Lyen, lion. Right?
Yes. It's his 5th year. He's got to do a little bit better than what we've seen in CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud has to move. Like, you've got to move. Like, you get 4 tries at a 1st and goal, and you don't move. You can put it in yourself, just like Mahomes. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He did it last week. Jalen Hurts any other quarterback that I start naming down the list will be able to run in the ball. Okay. If you don't have a choice, that's what you do. You don't sit there and stand there. You have to move and stop playing scared. I do think that Lion King has the ability to do this a little bit more than the Texans. I don't doubt the Texans. I could be a game back. I did take them last week, and I always say it's called the run it back, where you run that same team back because you lost. I don't have a specific this is what I'm going to take, but that's my analysis on it. I just don't like any of these teams.
Yeah, it's a tough situation because somehow the Texans are barely a dog and they fit that bill, that 69%. Yet the Jaguars should beat them, but they love to just give the ball away to the other team and make stupid things like go for it on 4th down when you should go up 6 and I should have covered that spread. That fun stuff. Yeah.
God, that's so annoying.
It's just, but that's Jaguars. It's almost like betting on Sam Darnold. It's like you have to accept your reality after the game
and your fate.
You have to accept your fate after doing something like that. So there it is. That's why I lean the Jaguars. But man, aren't they hard to get to? Seahawks Saints.
Totally.
This is going to be the biggest Survivor play in all of Survivor because there's no other places to use the Seahawks. But does that mean I'm going to be on it? No, I don't think so. But I think that I think that the Saints were feisty. They're not. They know they're not good, and that's why they just take everything the defense gives them. And I gotta admit, Spencer Rattler never came to me as a good quarterback, but he's not good. But he's not making mistakes either, and
he can keep up. He can keep up.
Well, is Seattle fat and happy this week coming home? But they're embarrassed at home by the Niners, and do you think that they maybe win the first one at home, or just kind of just feel overconfident? I would take the Saints if I had to bet this.
Wow. And maybe they do win just off of being mad and like, hey, let's not give up on our team. And then Seattle's going through something, right? Or whatever it is. I hear a lot of talk on X about Seattle and what's going on with them. So I don't know. I really think I have no take on this game. I think that both teams could keep up with each other. So I might take something on the total since it's 41.5. So that might look a little bit better.
Broncos Chargers. Yeah, 41.5. That's pretty low. Broncos Chargers. 2.5. I mean,
why is it 2.5?
It's weird. Short week for the Chargers. It's an extra day of rest, and the Broncos are pissed. If I had to bet it, I bet the Chargers. But I think the Broncos is also a good teaser leg. I think it's a 3-point game. Harbaugh's doing great, but man, I think the Chargers win. I just
a lot of these teams are Denver. I think Bo Nix is not fitting in just yet because of some of the stuff that he's been doing. Denver has a great defense, but they are letting you through.
Right.
When you look at some of those games, because they talk a lot about their defense, but where is that when it comes to certain plays? And yeah, Chargers should take this on a short week. They're been traveling a lot. They're at home.
They went
2.5. Is it 2.5 or 3? Yeah, they went to Brazil.
It's 2.5. It wouldn't shock me if this is just one of those spots Herbert doesn't look great. It's at home, but it's not their real home. I almost feel like the Chargers are better on the road and away from home. I mean,
in a way,
I came in the season high on Denver and the Chargers, and now I'm even higher on the Chargers than Denver. But I mean,
I don't know.
I'm going to pick the Chargers to win. I'm not going to lay 2.5.
Chargers to win for sure. Yeah, but I don't know that. Denver plus 3 sounds weird. Something about it. I know Denver fans would be like, "Oh, they should have won that game," blah blah blah. But maybe that's why they win. Maybe that's why they'll win or cover. Because they didn't cover for us last time.
Sure didn't.
Or they didn't win.
I will say that was mostly not their fault, but they were outgained in yards. Bo Nix should have not thrown that pick, and there was some bad coaching from Sean Payton.
I know.
It's just
like
dude,
this?
you are sitting there eating the clock, and this is what you do, you dumbass. But,
and another quarterback that runs is Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Come on, CJ. You can't let Danny do this.
No.
You know what I mean?
Danny Dimes took advantage of you and took you out. So there you go.
Crazy.
Here's a disgusting over, and I'm saying over because I bet the over. Cowboys Bears. No defense on either side. The Bears defense is so hurt. Stevenson's terrible. They lost Gordon. Gordon might play, probably not, and they lost Jalen Johnson, their cornerbacks. And you saw Cowboys Giants, and you saw the Giants just were able to do anything they wanted against the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are really paying for how they treated their defense and Micah Parsons. But, it's also a Ben Johnson team where, he's a very offensive guy. I see the Bears getting to 24 to 27 points, and I see the Cowboys getting up that high too. This 50.5,
yeah.
I took a better number, but I still like it under the key number of 51. So with my third play for the podcast, we're going over 50.5 in Chicago.
That's awesome. I think that's a great take on that. I wouldn't be shocked if your team actually won, though.
Well, the number's kind of saying that the Cowboys are just as good as the Bears. Like they're both really close. Yeah. I mean, it's pick 'em in some books. Yeah. Maybe they slight edge the Cowboys, but people are scared of betting the Cowboys too. And it's just a bad spot for the Cowboys after 2 division games, and they're going to Chicago now, right? It's kind of It's very Chicago. In Chicago, if they are a dog, they fit the bill of the 69% Oh, and 2 dogs,
Yeah.
right? So yeah. But I'm not messing with the side. I'll be happy with the total, and I'll root for no defense.
And you'll just be happy as a fan. Yeah.
I'll root for fantasy football. I'll root for fantasy
There
football
you
here
go.
and say no defense is needed. Let's put up some fantasy points in this game. So
Yeah, no, it's a great take. I love that on both sides of the team going over. You might have some great games for CD, and then you got all that stuff. Like you said everything that I wanted to say, and I think the over is great on this. And I wouldn't be surprised if I took it myself. So
awesome. Well, fair enough. Cardinals Niners. You know about this. It's funny. It's 2.5 in some books. It's +3 right now in DraftKings. Juice to -120. There's some rumors that Purdy's going to play. I don't think he plays. I think he's still going to sit. I think that toe could be lingering. I also think that Mac Jones with Shanahan is better than people think. That's what I think. My take is that Mac Jones can look like a good quarterback like he did at Alabama with a coach like Shanahan. But on the other end of the thing, Kyler Murray, he's so yin and yang, can win a tough game against a great team and can lose to a bad team. He's he's the most highly variant quarterback in the league, I feel.
He's super, I think he's very moody. I know we just got rid of Moody, but it's a great way to describe Mr. Baby Kyler is what we call him because he's so tiny in the screen. No, the Niners are great. We have a great defense. And Bosa Bear coming against Kyler, that could be a big factor. And a lot of people would say that, but I do like the over in this game. I won't really take so much of a side as far as covering because I know that Arizona could probably keep up with us, but that's why I'm taking the over. Over 45 is a good number for me that I usually take. And it's in Santa Clara. We don't, like you said about the Chargers, that we don't really play well at home either as the Niners team because it's not really in San Francisco. There's a lot of craziness in Santa Clara. It's in the middle and there's wind, there's as a fan, and I've been there plenty of times. I just don't like how the Niners usually play there. Yes, it's obviously like, hey, we play here, this is our home, but it doesn't feel like it as much as it did like Candlestick, Right. So
there you go.
That's my take on my team.
The over. I mean, it's a pretty good defense to go over on it, but I do think that their secondary is a little weak. And if Kyler Murray's moving around, that could set up a quick over. So it's moving
especially
up.
After
it's
what Arizona did too.
46 right now. 46. So it's moving up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's 46.5 at DraftKings. So it's really moving up. Get it before it hits 47 if that's your take.
I totally would because 45 was a good number for me. I took that early. And Arizona, they let a team like Bryce Young's team catch up. So
soft defense.
Never know.
They play prevent defense.
It's never under till it's over.
It is.
Brandon, it's never over till it's under.
Yeah, well, it's never over till it's under is very true. I love the fact that you hit it over in the first half, then you're good. Under, you don't even hit it until the end. So it's got to be double zeros.
I know. You're like, no.
And that's why the public loves overs, though. That's always how it's been.
I know.
Chiefs. Do they come back? Here's the thing. What are the Giants feeling after that choke in Dallas? And they should have at least tied. Wilson doesn't throw a pick. They tie. I'm on a survivor. And all of a sudden, he's like, oh my God, there's hope. I'm sitting there sweating this game in Cardinal Stadium. It was driving me nuts. They were ruining my time there, the Cowboys. And then I was just like, just lose so I can get past it. And then they actually win. I was like,
I know. And that's what really set me off too, where I was like, oh my God, I picked 2 Texas teams in circa millions, which rookie mistake I would never do because I have that narrative of, 2 teams in the same state, not winning or not covering. Right. And they're big market teams too. So I was just pissed, just like you. And then, I don't know, like the Giants, like they have this paper team that everyone talks about. We used to talk about paper teams all the time. Cincinnati was one of them. And I think the Browns was when Baker was there. And what happened to paper teams? They crumbled. I just think that this is one of those identity things, and I think Mahomes is going to do everything he can to win this game.
He was embarrassed. Mahomes is embarrassed at 0-2. Kelsey's embarrassed. The Giants have just a disgustingly hard schedule this year. But,
they do.
It's Wilson can be so yin and yang too. This number at 6 feels a little high for a Chiefs who has been covering by just getting through and winning at the end, and they have some wide receiver injuries there. But the Giants are the Giants. It's just I'm gonna lean to the Giants. I don't love it.
Both 0-2, right? Both 0-2.
They're both 0-2, so the Giants fit the narrative here, but they're unfortunately playing an 0-2 team too. But it's the dog narrative that's at 69%. And if this gets to 7, I'm going to be forced to take it. I'm going to hate myself. But it's just
or tease it.
Well, I'm not teasing. Yeah, you can tease the Chiefs and then watch them lose.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to lose, but man, this is a really discombobulated Chiefs team. They should have probably won last week. Kelsey, the ball hits him in the stomach, goes off, and then goes right to the I forgot who on the Eagles, but it was crazy. It was crazy. It was a massive swing on that. It ended up being a 14-point swing because they scored on that drive. So it's like the Chiefs are still very good. They still have a much better coach than the Giants. It's just the spread. Right. The spread you're looking at. That brings us to Monday night, which is an amazing game between the Lions and the Ravens. Right now, the Ravens are at 4.5, and the total is 53.5. Who are you believing here? Who are you believing?
Oh my God! I think Baltimore takes this because they're a better team and better. Campbell, I love the D. I love the Detroit Lions. I love Campbell. I love what he stood for in the last 2 seasons. Baltimore is a great team. Mm-hmm. They can really pull away if they really want to. They make their own mistakes. We've seen that happen in the Bills game. Obviously, that's Derrick Henry. Who else can make a mistake like that?
Oh,
and you know what I mean? And that game was a banger in week 1. I think they're in Baltimore. Goff doesn't do well on regular non-turf grass. And I did take this at under 52. A lot of people would say it would go over, obviously, because both teams can monstrously score, right? There's no, but I think it's a good spot. Monday Night Football. I'm going to run it back with Baltimore on this one. That's my strong feeling on it. I just don't like how Goff plays against a really good defense. And all they've done is add to their defense.
Funny, it's like you could parlay Baltimore and Kansas City, 2 teams that have constantly been in the AFC playoffs. It's like, especially as far as Kansas City, it's like, see, if you did put them together at 225 and 325, you're really close to minus 110 anyway, So,
well, what I think is the Sunday night and Monday night. Sunday night and Monday night, you have to have one dog win and one favorite win. I have that theory.
Oh,
and
narrative.
Yes. So I didn't have so much of a take on the Giants game, but maybe they're the dogs and Baltimore.
Well, I would say I think that the Lions benefited more on just the Bears being the Bears.
Yeah.
It's like, I know these teams recently played. Let me pull it up here. Because I'm curious on what happened. I thought the Ravens blew them out, but
was that but they had so much injuries last year. Literally,
they were super injured last year, but that defense doesn't look that much better away from home. So far, they only had Green Bay away from home, but they played the Bears. The Bears are still terrible. So head-to-head, 38-6 in Baltimore. Oh, that was a while ago. That was 2023. That was okay. That was a while ago. But Detroit did beat them in 2021. God, I feel like they played more than that. But
me too. But maybe they didn't.
Yeah,
maybe they didn't.
Maybe they. Yeah, maybe
did they play during preseason? Maybe that's what we're thinking.
Baltimore's 4-1 their last 5 games against the spread. So I'm considering Baltimore for a contest play. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to it from a betting standpoint, but it's just such an empty week when it comes to after my plays, because it's like pick your poison. I feel like it's a challenging week, so we'll see what happens.
Speaking of contests, sorry to bring this up if there's no time, but I've been losing just the last leg, dude. In millions, literally, everything else. And I think Prado was the one that brought that up on my show last night. And he was like, you're doing really good, except at the last leg. And I'm like, damn it.
Oh, we good.
So if I pick Baltimore, then you might want to go against me.
Oh no, I don't believe in that. We'll see what happens. There's still time to get into this thing, and no worries on that. Let's move on to our next segment, Bear Bet Bangers, and this is just any plus money future bet, or if you have a future to win a division or an MVP or a dog you might like this week to win outright. Do you have a little beer money banger that we can buy some more beers with?
My beer money banger is Cleveland. You already said
Ooh,
it.
there you go.
That's
I
just
love
for
it.
this week. So yeah,
They're at
that, or if you want some misery and snacks, I guess Raiders.
plus 600 on Cleveland. That's a great. Okay, it's actually plus 400 here. It was better than that. I could have swore it was in the plus.
What if they just win? That's
that would be
crazy.
amazing. It is plus. Yeah, it's around plus 400 ish. So that's a hell of a beer bet banger. I got one for you, and it's the Seahawks. They're gonna lose. Let's go Saints. They're gonna go 2-1.
Ooh, that's a good. That yours is better than mine.
I don't
Yours is
know.
actually more
I don't know.
realistic.
Seahawks are at home, but here's the thing: the Saints dying for a win. They're not giving up on anything. Players don't give up. Only organizations might, but players never do. I think that it's Sam Darnold. So it's like, even though it's Spencer Rattler, it's still Sam Darnold. He can choke this thing away. They could take what's underneath. This team just could play out of their minds. And it's for beer money. It's over plus 300. It's plus 316 on Bet Online. I love this shot we're going to take on the Saints. Plus 316 beer bet banger. So we got Cleveland and Saints. They both win. That'd be a hell of a parlay.
And they're professionals. Like, these guys are professionals. They don't want to lose, and Green Bay's getting all this love and attention, and they're like, oh, you want to be the pretty boy.
And Seattle's in a letdown spot too. So it's both of us. It's a both good plays.
Jordan Love in Cleveland.
They both fit the system. They fit the system for at least covering. So there you have it.
Cleveland covers. Yes. If they don't win, they'll cover for you.
Katie, you've been awesome. Really appreciate it. Where could our listeners get your great information and media?
So follow me at the Sports Betting Queen on IG, at KDeuces on X, and then www.thesportsbettingqueen.com. You'll find all of our YouTube, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. And you also get a link to the odds breaker. So
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Make sure you follow Katie. She is the queen. Katie, best of luck in your plays this weekend. Now it's time for our Refuse to Lose teaser. That is 2-0 so far. And we're going to take the Cardinals. We're going to take them to 8.5 right now. And we're going to take that with the Tampa Bay Bucks all the way down to 0.5. This was a situation where I think the Bucks do win. I just don't know if they cover that big spread. And I think that the Cardinals don't lose by that much based on Kyler Murray's skill and the fact that they're still on Mac Jones, the second-string quarterback there in San Francisco. So 2-0 on these babies, and hopefully we can hit this again. Now it is time for
The Sharp Side of the Force.
Sharp Side of the Force is brought to you by This Season. For the biggest sports contest in all the land, please visit www.theszn.com/OB. Terms, conditions, and location apply. All right. Sharp money on the NFL. Packers minus 6.5 to minus 8.5 at the Browns. 46% tickets and 57% of the money. Rams plus 4.5 to plus 3.5 at the Eagles. 28% of the tickets and 66% of the money. Sharp money in the Colts minus 3 to minus 4.5 at the Titans. 45% of the tickets and 69% of the money. Sharp money in the Cardinals plus 3.5 to plus 2.5 past the key number 3 at the 49ers. Injury related, 35% of the tickets and 74% of the money. Sharp totals. Packers versus Browns under 43.5 to 41.5. 43% of the tickets and 86% of the money. Falcons versus Panthers under 46.5 to 43.5. 90% of the tickets and 90% of the money. Raiders versus Commanders under 47.5 to 44. 91% of the tickets and 89% of the money. And sharp money for the Lions versus Ravens over 49.5 to 52.5. 10% of the tickets and 71% of the money. Time to recap our plays, my friends, and official plays from me. Cleveland plus 8.5 and Steelers minus 1.5 or money line is fine. And Bengals over 50.5 as well. And obviously the teaser, Arizona plus 8.5 and Tampa Bay minus 0.5. Obviously, Katie had a bunch of great plays as well. She loved that Niners over. And if you listen to her show, Crooks and Books, you'll get her stuff and all of her great information as well. My friends, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. If you have any questions for us, feel free to tweet us at The Oddsbreakers. Email us at info@theoddsbreakers.com. I hope you win all of your bets this week. Have a great time this weekend watching all the games. And go get some winners.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Super Sale and get 40% off paints and stains September 19th through the 24th. With prices starting at $29.39, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.